casual modes ruining Warzone? Today, we're diving in to investigate just that. No! Our goal is to uncover the secrets they won't tell us, and the truth might just shock you. What is it now that they've changed that they don't want us to know? Now, as we dive in here, I kind of want to give a layout as to how this video is going to go. So off rip, we're going to be playing our first game in casual solos. Our second game is going to be spectating casual solos, and our third game is going to be playing a game of casual quads. Now, this is important because a lot of people, every time I kind of talk about casuals, a lot of people have differing opinions, and I wanted to explain the nuances behind how casuals truly works, because so many people get it wrong, and it's actually kind of frustrating whenever people are just spreading all this misinformation about a mode that isn't super difficult to understand. So 948756, 948756, 948756, 948756, 948756, 948756. I'll be asking, Expel, what are you doing? I'm just grabbing specialist. You may as well. Casual lobbies are pretty easy to get specialist, and in fact, check. See on right below my my face cam here, there's my mic popping up. Hey, what's up, man? See, that's a real guy. And we're going to explain how I know that, because this is actually a strategy you can use in your own solo matches outside of literal casual solos. But I kind of want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly about this mode. So off rip, let's immediately kind of work on getting the scavenger done. And as I do, let's start with this. First of all, casual modes could be detrimental to Warzone right now because of a couple of things. And I'm not saying I think the modes themselves are bad. In fact, check. In fact, I'd like to say the exact opposite. I think these modes may be Warzone's saving grace if they treat it correctly. Now, we've got Battlefield 6 out. A lot of the casual players have switched over to that. And if you're still here, first of all, incredible. Cool. Glad you're enjoying Call of Duty, you know? I mean, I'm not getting paid to say that, just so you know, but I'm happy to have you here watching my videos, you know? So, a lot of players have switched over to Battlefield. And these are going to be more of the slow, stationary players, because that's kind of how Battlefield is. That's not to say that you can't be quick in Battlefield. You can't move around. You can't have snappy aim and just be good. But a lot of Battlefield players have been a little hateful to the players coming over from Call of Duty. And I have this feeling that you're not going to see a lot of crossover because the games are very different. But casuals may actually be something that keeps Warzone alive, or if they don't treat it right with the integration of Black Ops 7, it could be what actually kills quite a few of these modes. So if you don't know, with Black Ops 7, we're getting an update to the map, but what we're also getting a little bit later, specifically in spring, is going to be Avalon. Now, every single time Call of Duty drops something new, what ends up happening is it kind of splits up the player base. So, was he shooting at me? Oh, hold on 2 seconds. Sorry, wifey called. Anyway, let me pop this right here. So what ends up coming from that with, you know, the player base getting split is that each playlist takes longer and longer for you to join into. So if I want to hop into a game, and I'll show you on screen now, it takes varying amounts of time per playlist. So it takes quite a while for regular solos. It takes upwards of 5 minutes. And that's whenever there's quite a few players on. It takes, you know, a couple of minutes to get into quads. It takes a couple of minutes to get into casual solos and stuff like that. And you can see the varying levels of time it takes to get into each of these. But I will note, it is way faster to get into a game of casual solos. Now, the reason for this is because there's only 28 real players in casual solos. The same goes for casual quads, 28 real players. That means 7 teams in quads, and that means 28 solos in solos. So what ends up happening is that people can get into games much quicker whenever the lobby doesn't have to fill as quickly. What also ends up happening is that the lobbies tend to be lower ping. So if I go to my account thing here, you can see I got 20 ping. My average ping for other matches, like regular matches, is going to be 30, 50, you know, stuff like that. So you get higher ping, you're running into more struggles in these matches because of your connection to the server. Now again, clearly they don't have as many real players that are taking up server space. They're not, you know, taking into account a ton of players' skill levels, right? You only have 28 players, you got to account for their skill. So instead of doing 150 players and trying to get 150 alike players, it's just a little bit easier to start those lobbies up. So it really splits the time in half, if not faster, at least whenever it comes to solos. So the conversation is right now that casuals may be the option that they keep for Warzone instead of doing what they're doing with Black Ops 7. Because, again, we're getting Avalon, but with Black Ops 7, they're actually getting a change in the matchmaking system. And it's called open matchmaking. And the way that that matchmaking system works is that it actually... Oh, hello. It actually makes it where skill is less of a priority. So right now with me, I am a 6+ KD player, or 6+ ED player in this case. And that means that it's going to take a while for Call of Duty to find players that are of my skill level. It's very, very difficult. But at the end of the day, skill-based matchmaking, whether you love it or hate it, is something that has been very detrimental to the player base of Call of Duty. It's changed the way that people's brains work whenever it comes to Call of Duty, and that's a big problem. Hey, what's up, bro? You having a good day? You got a microphone? Good old Lawrence. I whipped his ass earlier. He had to come back for it. He had to come back to it. So, skill-based matchmaking, whether you believe it or not, it has been detrimental, and you're seeing that change with Black Ops 7. So, it's causing this extra time to get into a match. The longer you wait for a match, the more, you know, you get bored, you want to switch games, you want to do something else. Not everybody has a ton of time in the day to sit and wait for a match. So that's the big problem that we're seeing right now. But it seems like they're very much so updating the game whenever it comes to casuals. So they are really like balls deep in this mode, and they're not planning to get rid of it from what I can tell. And the reason I say that is that there's been some big, and I mean, whoop, there's been some really big changes that have come over the past like 6 months since the game mode was released. And so over time, I've slowly made more and more videos discussing, you know, what's new with the mode, what they're changing, what they've added. And a lot of it comes down to the way that these bots interact with you. And I know that sounds a little weird, but I'm telling you, it's interesting. So some time ago, I spent a long time hopping in and out of games and figuring out how bot names work. So a lot of what you'll see with these bot names is that they maybe repeat characters, they have like capital Qs, and a surefire way of trying to figure that out is just by the name is just look for like maybe noun plus numbers, which is very often a guaranteed way to see like, oh, it's Kingslayer 420, and it's very common numbers, or like birth dates, you know, like 96 or, you know, 72 or something like that. You'll see numbers like that. You see XD2 Dan in the bottom left right there. So you got like a regular person's name, and then you got like XD, which in texting is like a laughing face, right? Hello? So you've got a lot of stuff like that going on. And while it's not 100% guaranteed, look at how much damage it did with a sniper, by the way. Look how much damage it does with a sniper. Watch. What do you have, an Essex? Both of those snipers, no matter where it hits you on the body, will break your armor. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But basically, you know, you're looking at names, and some of them will even like pay homage to old like Call of Duty jokes or old games or something like that. So you can pay attention to things like that to figure out through the names, but I don't really think that that would be how I would recommend you figure out stuff like this. You can also notice that with a lot of these bots, what they'll do is they'll burst fire whenever they're trying to shoot you. They'll shoot you much more slowly than a regular player would. Whenever they go to shoot, they don't really move. They tend to drop shot immediately. They tend to throw grenades very quickly. If you're in a vehicle and you drive up on them, they'll throw a grenade at you. And again, like I said, their weapons will often do less damage. So that's what you saw with that guy down there. That was a bot. And you can tell immediately because their weapon, when I got shot by that weapon, it did almost no damage. Now also, and this is a bot, and you can tell because the second I went to shoot this bot, what ended up happening is that it didn't stop moving and like slide to the side or do what a regular player would do, which is try and find cover. It instead just kept running and played it up. So there's actions that like real players would be like, oh, I've got to find cover. Your brain like kind of kicks in and they think about that. So that's going to allow you to figure out that it's a real player or a real player versus a bot sometimes. And then, like I said, you know, the weapons do less damage. So let's kind of cover that. So if you don't know, there was something found some time ago where it showed that there's skill-based damage in the game. But the issue is there was a lack of context for what that was talking about. Now, player to player, there is no skill-based damage. This has been proven repeatedly. And that alone is not enough to say that, you know, skill-based damage isn't in the game, because technically speaking, it is. It's just based on the bots. But the skill is actually the kind of bot that it is. So every single bot that comes in at 1 to 3 levels. Some of them do more damage, some of them do less damage. And each one of those bots will just be like that. Just pretty much guaranteed, right? By the way, real player, you can see because they have a clan tag, and we'll get into that in a second. But each of these bots is going to do a little bit different kind of damage, regardless of the kind of weapon that they have. It also has nothing to do with your skill level. It is just the kind of bot that drops in. Just to be clear, it has nothing to do with you. So don't ever think that that's what's going on. But there's just so much that they've put into this that makes you realize they're kind of going to keep it. I don't think we're going to see something new come out of the game whenever it comes to skill-based matchmaking. I think with Black Ops 7's integration, we're probably not going to see a change in skill-based matchmaking, which kind of sucks, but maybe I'll be wrong. This is just a guess. Now, the next thing is I do want to be clear. There are a couple of guaranteed strategies to figure out if it's a real player versus a bot. First, real players can drive vehicles, bots cannot drive vehicles, okay? So that's pretty much guaranteed, right? So this guy right here, 100% a real player. In fact, I've ran into this guy. And by the way, Lawrence just disconnected, so that guy's dead. But such is life. And the way that you know for certain that it's a bot, this is the only guaranteed way to know it's a bot, like factually proven, is that you cannot report them. Now, of course, there are going to be times where someone looks like a bot and they're a real player. There's also going to be times where it's very obvious to you based on how often you play, the things that you see the player doing, the way that they run, the way that they either jump or slide, like the movements that they make, that they are a bot. Like this guy right here, Ebony Parable, 100% a bot. There's no doubt in my mind. But it doesn't mean that factually I can prove that that player is a bot. I will say bots do pull their shoots in the weirdest ways as well. That's an interesting thing. You see how the name is like Zone Innocence? It's just two random words put together. It never means anything, right? It's kind of a weird thing that they do there. But like I said, the only way to guarantee that it's a bot is to try to report them, and it won't allow you to report them. We'll see that whenever we go to spectate, because I am gonna spectate some bots today. Beyond that, if you want a guaranteed way to know that it's a real player that you're running up on, these players, when you have open mic on, and I'll see if I can find a player that is real so that I can show you. If you have open mic on and they also have proximity chat on and they are, you know, in the game chat instead of like in a PlayStation party or an Xbox party, they will actually not have their mic pop up on the side, but your mic will pop up on the side of the screen. Ooh, that might be a real boy. Let's see if we can get a little closer so I can show you. Now, if this is a real person, what you'll see is that my mic will start popping up in the bottom right, like it is right now. Not the bottom right, but on the right side of the screen, middle of the screen. So if you look, like right there, you can see right here, my mic is popping up. And that means that the guy that's on top of this building is a real player. So it's pretty informative whenever you're trying to figure out if someone's real. It allows you to kind of get the jump on somebody, but it also gives away your position. But what I do is I know that that only works within 30 meters. So what you can do is, you know, say we're right there and then I start backing up. It's actually more like 35 to 40, but all right. And now as I come up, you can see Mike, and it's about 30 meters right there. So he's within 30 meters. I can probably check the heartbeat to figure out where he's at. We got another guy on the right somewhere. And I could obviously... Now, if you look, his name kind of looks like a bot name, but that's a real player. Name was Bullet Magnet with 3s. This guy right here, also a real player because they're actually getting cover. Joshy Washy. My mic's open, which means the player right here is not real. But there's been some big changes over the last little bit, right? So this is all information I've shared in the past, but there have been some big changes to how bots work now. So let's kind of talk about those things that have changed. And I saw this recently in the last video I covered, but this is something that a lot of people have gotten wrong because I shared this in my original video. Bots can now prestige, or can be prestiged, I should say, because obviously outside of the game, they're not really hopping in and prestiging, right? So bots can now be prestiged. So that means that if you see a prestige player, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a guaranteed real player. But they can also, which is brand new to this season, pick up perks. This has not been possible in the past, and this actually threw me off just a little bit whenever I was first trying to figure out if it was a real player. I saw that a bot had perks, but they can. And the reason why is because they can actually pick up a lot of what players drop. So that means if you're like, say on a buy station, you go in, you grab a UAV and you leave a PA right there. It'll be a player that has dropped this item, which means a bot can go get it. Now, from what I can tell, they can also pick up these things off of dead bodies, but they cannot just naturally go and buy perks or hit a loadout or pretty much anything like that. They physically have to get it off of a player. I don't know what the reason for that is, but that's just how it works. Now, we are going to play out this match, and we're kind of going to try to get to the very end and then give the win to the final player. And that's usually how I end up playing it, because I actually have played this on my second channel, Expel Plus, quite a bit lately, because my duo hasn't been home and we had a new update and I want to try out the new guns. And this just seemed like the best way to do it. Now, I realize a lot of players get upset over the fact that, you know, whether it's a streamer or a content creator or whoever is playing casuals. At the end of the day, the mode's available for everybody. If you want the mode to stay, you have to have a player base that is going to consistently play it. Otherwise, the player base will disappear for that, and it'll be just the same as solos. So if you don't want players to be able to play the mode, that's incredibly dumb. It doesn't make any sense. You can see that John B's got my mic popping up on the bottom right, which means he's probably sitting inside that police station, which is about 30 meters out. As I backed away, it wasn't showing up. So John B's showing up on the radar now, and John B is dead. Now you can see I've got a bounty on me, and it's this guy right here, but instead of... That's a bot right there, I think. Yeah, that was a bot. Did you see how I was picking up loot off of the player's dead body? You see that? Just picking up loot off of the player's dead body. And the way that we know is because this guy jumped out of the car, right? Another bot because they just run in a straight line. Also, their name is Zany. Again, players can change their name to pretty much whatever they want, which is why I would say, you know, names are good indicators, but it's not a guarantee, because if you don't memorize every single name of every single bot in the game, then there's no guarantee that it's going to be a bot. Check a heartbeat. Got a guy right there. Mic's not popping up. See? Bot crouch walks its way in. Got another guy. Clearly A real player? No, it's a bot. That's crazy. So that was one of the bots that I said was going to be able to do more damage. So it hits most of its shots with a KSV, and what ends up happening is that it breaks me pretty quick, you know? So you'll see that as you get later in the game. Now, another thing that's pretty interesting about these modes is that it doesn't work like regular solos. And the reason why is because bots, if there's no players nearby, will literally just disappear. Like, if I were to get a UAV, and sadly there's no buy station, what you'll see, and we'll probably do this in a different game. You know what? The heck with it. I'm gonna go get a... Is there literally not a single... Oh, there's a guy nearby. Hey! This is interesting. So bot will run and then stop. It's interesting how they dodge cars, but that was actually in the... Oh, there's a guy in that building. That was actually in the Warzone mobile as well, or I guess COD mobile. I know it was Warzone mobile. They would stop like that. Hello? Hello? So that guy in front of me is probably not real. Let's go get an advanced. Hello? Get rid of that guy. Now, since it's the end of the game, what you're also going to see is right now, looking at my camera, there's 28 players left in the game, right? You see that above my head? 28? Now watch the left-hand side. Oh, that's my kills. Oh, never mind. I lied. We're going to see this in the next game. There's still more to learn. I mean, there's so much information packed into this. That's a real guy, by the way. So he has his guns and perks. This is very often an indicator. The guy on the roof is going to be real. He's probably going to peek this corner in a second, if I had to take a guess. Probably not. I've probably got a guy on the tower up there based on the mini-map. And I'd say every player left in the game is going to be real. See that guy's still above us? Yeah. So now what that probably means is that we can probably position ourselves a little bit differently. Let's pop that UAV one more time. Pop that smoke so we can get the cross. And then that guy's probably going to be peeking over. He's just sitting in the corner. Oh, interesting. And this guy up top, he's asking for it, so... Hey, buddy. That's a bot. Now I've got scavenger, and the reason why is so I can grab more smokes. We know that there was a guy over there. We know that there's a guy near us because our mic's popping up. This guy up top's probably going to have to move or he dropped down, one or the other. Looks like he's moved. He's probably ran out to the right or he's about to run out. There he is. What do you know? Exactly as planned. Oh my god. That guy get murdered? That guy did. G-Man! G-Man with the specialist. Now it's a 1v1v1. Got one guy just sat up in this building. He's been there for quite a while. Or he's on the roof. I'm not 100% actually. 26 meters, just sitting in the building. Hey, what up, John? Good to see you again. Happy to have you here, man. John, I heard your mic, man. Go ahead and cut that thing on. You want to have a conversation like a grown-ass man or no? Whoa. What an interesting play, guys. So we got two guys here. I know that they're both there. I can just turn off my mic. I don't have to utilize it. I'm dead. Whoop. Hey, boys. Fight! 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 John, I don't want to win. Johnny boy! Johnny! John! Woohoo! Come on, John, come get my ass. John, let's go, man. Good win. I'm proud of you, dude. Have a good day, man. I love you, dude. I hope you have an incredible remainder of your day, man.
You are him.
No. I don't want to win. I don't want to. Thank you. All right. Let's check out John's kill cam. We'll hop into a game of solos to spectate. Good shots, Johnny boy. Now you can see that I can report John, like I said. And that's how you know that it's a real player. So let's hop in. We're going to spectate, and I'll show you some more stuff that you probably wouldn't know. As we dive in on this one, I did say I was going to spectate, but I want to be clear. We have to spectate a little bit later. I know that a lot of you are like, well, I'd like to start spectating right now. You can't. It's physically not possible because of the way that the bots will just disappear on you. So instead of spectating right now, I'm going to be forced to kill this guy, who was a real player, because you can see that he had a clan tag. Like I said, we got another guy nearby because my mic's popping up. Not exactly sure where this guy is. He's probably down below over there where I was. Let's drop in right here. We got to grab the key card, which looks to be in the last location I was going to check, which is right over here on this corner. And I think I'm just going to grab my loadout because, well, unless we can just grab the other key card. Wait, what? Did this guy grab the key card? Did I miss it? Did I miss the key card? What happened? Did I get the key card? I did not get the key card. I'm very confused. I guess I'm not getting specialist. But either way, I did want to wrap back to a conversation I was having just a moment ago. Probably actually near the beginning of the video, which was discussing, you know, the way that it could actually kill the game. So time to match is kind of a big deal, and if they're not going to change the skill-based matchmaking, 6-3-4-5-9-7, 6-3-4-5-9-7, 6-3-4-5-9-7, 6-3-4-5-9-7, 6-3-4-5-9-7. Sorry, I realized I don't even need my loadout. I can actually just get specialist and dodge the loadout, so go buy it down here actually. If they're not going to change out the way that skill-based matchmaking works, what they'll need to do to ensure that the game is going to be fine is that they will need to change the time to match. And what that is it's kind of the upper parameter for whether or not you're going to get into a match quickly, right? So right now, they take skill into account indefinitely, right? Like really, they not indefinitely, but like for up to 5 minutes, they'll take skill into account. And you saw that whenever I showcased how long it took me to get into a solo. Jeez, how long it took me to get into a solos match. So you could see that for quite a while, it was like, well, you know, we'll We'll take this skill into account. We'll take the skill into account. And then at 5 minutes, it was like, all right, we should probably put this dude into a lobby. Now, sometimes, depending on how many players are available at that time, it'll be even higher than that. Which is frankly super unfortunate because I've had moments where it's taken me 10 to 15 minutes to get a match, which I feel like should not be possible. I think this is actually a real guy. And the reason I thought that was because the Predator skins from the Battle Pass are not yet in the pool of skins that they use for casuals. So the bots are not actually able to use them, which is pretty interesting. I got another guy right there who I'm guessing is real as I move closer to him. Get rid of that. Are you real? You are not real, just plating right in front of me. That's crazy. Did that bot kill that guy? Oh my god, the bot killed the guy. Did he? Now what I'm trying to do, to be clear, is that I'm trying to get $18,000 so I can buy 3 UAVs because I want to showcase to you, while we wait to spectate, I want to showcase to you, and look at this. Hello? Yeah, real player. Goodbye. Oh. Interesting. Timmy Black Bomb. Now my mic goes away. You see that? So that's how you know that guy's a real player. That's pretty much the guaranteed way to know if it's a real player. But I want to showcase to you that the way that bots work in this, because I think that's pretty interesting, how they'll just disappear and reappear across the map. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab 3 UAVs. Pop. 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 And I'm going to go up here. Or I'm going to just, I guess, lay right here in this corner. And I want to look at the map, okay? So let's look right here. We're just going to stay right there. I'm going to try and set that there. And we're going to look to see who's... Yeah, you just saw a guy teleport across the map. And that's how the bots work in this. So if you're to play this, thinking that you are going to improve for solos, you can absolutely improve on doing contracts. You can improve on your gun skill by trying to fight people that are moving and stuff like that. You can do that. But the way fundamentally that solos works is a lot of it comes down to information, and that information specifically, a lot of it's UAVs. Now, if you don't play for UAVs, this will not affect you. But if you're someone that likes to get into a lot of gunfights so that you can stay warm throughout the match, UAVs are very, very important. They're like life or death, realistically. So if you're popping a UAV and you see a guy like the guy that just teleported down a hospital, you see a guy right here and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to push that. And then all of a sudden, that guy just teleports away. You're like, what the heck? So the way that it works is actually kind of bass-ackwards. Look at this guy. It's your mama. Get rid of that guy. How is that guy still alive? I think that's a real player too. It is. You see how his movements are kind of random? Yep, and I could immediately tell. And then, of course, he had a clan tag. Bot players kind of running a specific formation, you know? They'll just like run and they won't really slide. They'll just back up. So that's kind of how they work. But that's kind of the interesting thing about these modes. Now, it's much less of a big deal whenever you're playing casual quads, but there's not a lot of like long-term learning that you can get out of casual solos. It's more of a mode just for you to hop in and have fun, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing bad about that. I think that people just get confused because what you learn from this, a lot of what you learn from it, you could learn directly from just fighting, you know, like targets, like hopping into like a firing range and slipping and sliding back and forth and trying to stay on target, you know, like me going like this and then sliding and then like this and sliding. You see that? That was interesting. What the hell was that? It's a buy station. He had a portable buy station in his back pocket. How interesting is that? Now, we're going to change out and start spectating in just a minute. And the reason I haven't, by the way, is just because basically with the issue of them teleporting, you don't actually get an opportunity to spectate them for long. And you know what? We'll probably actually just look at that, and I will find someone that's not ghosted, which, by the way, ghosted usually means the real player. So if you're ever looking for real players, what you can do is kind of search for the ghosted players. It's the same guy, dude. The same guy. Oh, he's good too. Well. Yo mama. Oh, I'm dead. Is that a bot? That's a bot. His name was Tiny. Now, we're also going to spectate in casual quads. I don't want to play the whole game out of casual quads. I do want to spectate at some point, but I have to make sure that it is a bot team, because what ends up happening is that casual quads is way more interesting to spectate. Now, casual solos, they don't move as much, but they do move. Like, they'll just disappear all of a sudden. Oh, I have to go to my gulag, actually. Here we go. Okay. Just toss that. Because if I don't go to the gulag, then I'm never going to actually be able to spectate. This is wildly unfortunate. I can't even knock myself. Oh my god. Okay. Now let's just go ahead and die out. We're going to come right back to where we were, hopefully. We'll see what happens. Unless this guy's a bot right here. But usually when you fight a bot in the gulag, they literally just instantly disappear and you don't get to spectate them. It's a very weird bug. I don't know what it's about, but it is very odd. So you don't actually want to die to a bot in the gulag, because they'll just disappear and you'll be left watching a real player. Because if you are spectating a bot and that bot disappears, it'll always put you on a real player. So we got Master Rat, who is definitely a bot. But we got a guy up in the rafters that's a real player. That's why my mic's popping up. So watch this. Watch. You see how little damage he does to me when he shot, and he kind of shot in a burst? That's how you know, again, kind of a telltale sign that it's going to be AI. So let's rotate down. We're going to grab our specialist, and we're going to work on trying to find a player that is, or a bot, really, that we can spectate. Now that we're dead. Just so I can move a little bit faster. That's why I'm grabbing all my stuff. That's all that it is. It's not like I'm trying to go crazy or beast mode or something like that. Go ahead and get a plate up here. That guy looks real. Yeah, you see how he slid? And his clan tag. You know? The clan tag always gives it away for whether or not it's a real player. Like this guy right here. Now, somebody did ask me, hey, Expel, can you see if you kill all the players in the game if a bot can win? We do have confirmation via Marley13, and I've actually done it myself with a random player. That bots can, in fact, win the game. It's actually pretty funny to watch whenever it happens. So now we got a lot of these. And it might be interesting to go ahead and pop and then pop to figure out kind of the, oh, of course. Perfect. The UAV went out at that exact moment. So let's see. That could be bots. That could be bots. Let's head over. Maybe this guy's a bot. That guy's in the sky. Unfortunate. My curiosity is, say that's a bot for sure. Yeah, because the bots pull their chute very, very high. They have auto deploy on, and then they all, like, constantly pull their chute. Let's go over here. This guy's 100% a bot because the way he's just walking and ADSing. He's not sure what's going on. I can run around him indefinitely, and he'd have, like, he kind of just like aim bots on you, right? All right, so we got Small Will here. Notice that I cannot report. There's no option to report this this bot. And he just hip fires me. The question is, am I going... Look at that. Instantly switches me to another player, so I can't even spectate. How interesting is that? That's kind of what I'm talking about, is that it's a little weird whenever you're trying to spectate bots. And this guy also, by the way, has a specialist. That's crazy. So you can't even spectate a bot, really. I wonder if they took that out of the game. How interesting. How interesting. I wonder if they're talking in the game chat. I can't even press pause, actually. This is... I literally can't leave the game if I want right now. Because I died to a bot. I can't leave. I'm literally stuck in here. They won't let me leave. Dude, I mean, here, I'll cut on my hand cam. You can see I'm pressing pause. It's not doing anything. Oh, but I can do this and then press pause. How interesting. So we got a fire sale. So if I go to pause, let's see if they're saying anything in game chat. Whoever was trying to snipe at someone on a holding tank, you suck ass, uninstall. You're effing dookie. Interesting. Interesting. And then this guy just smokes and sits in a corner. Now again, I can report, so it is a real player. And I pause after going into that. So I have to, okay. Now I had 15 eliminations. This guy's at 12. He's just sitting in a corner. I don't know what he's doing. Very interesting position to be in here. I don't know what level he is. It actually doesn't say that anymore. I can't go to my match summary. This is so weird. And it wouldn't even let me spectate. Now we're gonna try this again in a second with quads, but I was not expecting that. Now I stuck around for a while to spectate too. At the very least, we can kind of learn how the players work in these games. Now this guy says he's level 1, but it is a bug that like your calling card and your emblem and your level like don't properly pop up. He's clearly not cheating. Just as a quick heads up, he just seems like a regular dude. We got Stev Latouble. Fire sale's still going on. He does need to move. He's got a helicopter right there. My guess is, yeah. That makes sense. I wonder what happened to that bot, or if as soon as the bot killed me, it disappeared. How weird is that? For the sake of the video, after this gameplay, I'm gonna hop into a couple of games and try and spectate, and then we'll hop into quads. And then I'll try and spectate in quads, clearly, after a little bit. But quads is very different than this. Like, quads works completely differently because they're full teams. They actually allow you to spectate for just a second longer. Now, these are just bots because they're just walking right past each other. But I don't know, man. I will note, I've actually been enjoying solo casuals. I think it's improved quite a bit. I think the ability for bots to pick up perks, for them to sometimes pick up, like, kill streaks, I think it changes the way that you look at the mode. The more that the bots progress, the more that they get just a little bit better, even if they're, like, you know, not doing a ton of damage to you so that you can get free kills and get that dopamine hit. Even if, oh, I'm sorry, I still have my hand cam on. Even if, I think that it's, like, net positive. I think it's a really, really good mode now. I do hope that they lower at the, like, even if we have to play in demon lobbies all the time, don't get me wrong, like, I'll accept that. I'm not against that by any means. It sucks because sometimes it is, like, pointless to play. But even if that's the case, what I'd like to see is for them to max out that time to match, so that instead of it taking 5 minutes, it only takes a minute and a half. Pretty much guaranteed, no matter what. They put that top end on there because, believe it or not, and I know a lot of people aren't going to believe it, the number of players that play Call of Duty Warzone is outrageously high, in the millions on the daily. People don't want to believe it, but I'm telling you, this game has a ton of players. Steam charts are not relative to anything. They, like, there's no correlation, like, there's really no correlation. Obviously, aside from, like, big dips or whatever, like, Steam drops so much faster than every other platform. So when people try and give you the Steam charts, you just can't trust it because it just doesn't work that way. This guy's pretty interesting because the guy that he's, oh, look at that. Look at that. We got a snipe off here, ladies and gentlemen. This guy does not understand how snipers work. He just keeps aiming higher and higher. Brother, you just aim right above his head. The HDR's got the, well, it could be a default HDR. I don't know. He's dead. Like, he's gonna die, right? He's gotta die. Dude, he's just aiming so high. But he does have nothing on the weapon. So it looks like he's trying to level up this HDR because HDR is not ground loot in any sense. Which kind of sucks, by the way. Okay. So high. It's like, it's so outrageously high up. I don't know why he keeps assuming that he needs to keep going higher, but like, brother, you're not even hitting the car. That's a real player coming up there. You can see the guns in his hand. The guns in his hand literally have a skin. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here. He's literally PAing him. I don't know if you saw that, but he was PAing him, so he's gonna have to drop it. Oh, he's dead. No way. Don't peek. Don't peek. Don't peek. Oh my God, you got me stressed, bro. This guy's crazy. Let's check it out. What's he see? What's he see? Anything? Oh, got the guy right there moving. All right. Looking around. Nothing there. He's just going to be sitting in the building. He's not super interested, buddy. You got a guy down below you. If anyone is in a car, bots still cannot drive cars. I don't know when that's going to change, but it's physically impossible for them to drive vehicles. This guy's coming up. Now, a little reminder that bots do have literal aimbot. Just so you know, because they don't see the way that we see, which is why if you're trying to use a ghillie suit in here, one, they'll spawn on you, which is incredibly annoying, but two, the bots will literally just look right at you and know exactly where you're at. So even if you're suppressed and you have a no glint scope on your sniper, they will, by the way, bot, because it just tossed an aid the second it got shot. They will still look right at you and shoot right at you. That's how they work. I don't have an explanation for it. I mean, I do have an explanation for it. It's because they don't see like we do. They have computer like code written in to where they just have to lock on to you to know your position. If he got that, that would have been kind of impressive, dude. But the reasoning behind that, I guess it's much harder to make them be able to literally see. I don't even know if that's physically possible, to be honest. Gotta be a bot? Yep. You never really see people run in the Christmas outfits, so that's another thing. Like, if I see a Christmas outfit, I'm gonna assume that it's a bot. That's a real player. He's running a ranked skin. I don't think they can run ranked skin. I've maybe not seen it, but ranked skins are usually real players. Especially a skin like that poor guy. This guy's just all over the place, you know? You play this mode completely differently than you do other modes. Oh, it's free, brother. What are you doing? AJJ23. My God. Poor guy. If you go look, I bet he's got my specialist. Oh, he does. Look at that. That's my specialist. How interesting. Now, this guy, I would not put him in a regular match. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, he has a lot of work to do based on like his positioning, his aim, and this isn't me like talking smack by any means. Just like don't think that that's what I'm doing, but he does have quite a bit of work to do before he's ever gonna get his first solo win, unless it's just him hiding in a building for the entire match. And the reason why is because he's not really there. And the other thing is that casuals teaches you to be a bad player. So I had this video that I did recently where my random duo was a reformed cheater. He immediately admitted after I like mentioned, oh, you're low level, like what's going on? And he told me immediately, he was like, I got banned. So I switched to PlayStation and I like don't do any of that anymore. And he told me, he was like, man, I used to be good at this game, but it feels like now after I cheated, I have learned really bad habits that just like make me a worse player. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of the big thing, is that if you're not, look at like pro players. For example, look at these pro players that 2 box constantly, 3 box, 4 box, and that's all they do. they will consistently get bad placements at LAN events because they're not constantly on. And it's not like, while it's not fun, as a player that plays professionally, it is your job to constantly know how to fight different players. So you want to see them kind of fighting people at their own speed, which is why they do like scrims and things of that nature. And this guy, absolute goober, he has an opportunity. He goes and he pushes towards the right. It's probably a great play. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, he's gonna hunker down here. But yeah, if you look at him right here, if you want to get better, you're gonna learn bad habits by playing casuals. If you don't care about getting better, if you don't care about playing regular solos, all power to you. I'm not telling anyone they should do one thing or the other. I'm just trying to explain what's going to happen if you just play casuals. Now, I will note, casuals is a great mode to warm up in. If you're trying to get your aim on, you're trying to get that gunny up, absolutely hop into specifically casual Resurgence. Because casual Resurgence is very interesting. Because like you come back in Resurgence, like that's how Resurgence works. Because of that, what ends up happening, this guy's gonna die right here. He's gonna die. Oh, the jump, forced to position himself better. What ends up happening is that these bots just come back on repeat and fly above you. And that's all you're doing is you're just shooting people out of the sky. So you're just getting free target practice of people just like flying in and just pulling their chute right above you. So it's actually kind of a cool thing to do if you're trying to warm up. I highly recommend hopping into casual Resurgence and doing that. And then you hop into your solos, your duos, your trios, your quads. Even if you're just a big map player, it's really good to play Resurgence casuals. But I think this game mode's definitely improved over time. I think they've clearly added new things to these bots that have turned them into something that isn't just a bunch of like nonsensical AI running around like chickens with their head cut off. Don't get me wrong, that still happens. I'm not trying to take away from that. That is something that still happens. That guy's absolutely crazy for this. Don't drop, don't drop, don't drop, don't drop. That doesn't make sense. He's not gonna run out this way. That guy right there is absolutely still behind it. He's gonna have to rotate to the right. He's not gonna wrap around to the left. That would not make sense. If you're this player and you've got a long way to go, you don't take the longer way. Unless you're a goober. No way he takes left. If he takes left, he's a crazy man. And by the way, heartbeat sensors don't work when you're spectating. UAVs don't work when you're spectating. Recoil doesn't necessarily show up the way that it should when you're spectating. Oh, for free? For free, Big Texas? No. I still think the guy down below is probably going to win this. From my understanding, the guy down below could have a decent position if he just wraps up. Oh my God! I'm kind of hoping Steve wins it, but Steve's a little too focused on popping prox mines. Dude, they're having a mid-off right now. Oh my God. Oh my God. My boys had a mid-off and Steve won. Let's go, baby! Okay, so I'm gonna hop into a couple of matches. We're gonna see if I can spectate it all or if they've kind of messed it up for solos. Game number 1. Testing to see if I can spectate a bot now. The bot's taking a whole business day to eliminate me. Thank you. All right, we got Raul Blueberry. Can't report it. Definitely a bot. We have to see. Can I spectate? Warzone defeated, and it moves me to a different player. I don't know if this is possible now. Game number 2. Testing. Level 46. Cannot report. This is a bot. And it switches. You can't spectate them now? No, right? Is this a real player? Can I report this guy? I can. What the hell? So for this game, I am officially in casual quads. And I'm going to run you through what I did the last 2 games, the ones where I tried to spectate. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Hopefully, it's a little bit different in quads, but it's very interesting that immediately I cannot spectate anymore. I don't know why they've chosen to force the player off of the bot, or if the bot kills a player, it instantly zaps the bot out of the game. I would love to see that from the perspective of another player. and see if that's possible. Maybe we'll have to bring in another player in the future and have someone hop into a solo match with me, a casual solos match, see if we can get everybody in the same game and then they watch it happen. But clearly the guy on the other side of this is a real player. He's also using the Predator skin. He's not that great, no offense, but it's probably why a lot of people play casuals. And now what I'd like to do is try and find a bot. So that's exactly what I did last time. I hopped in, I killed a guy in the gulag. Obviously he's got a team this time, so it's not so big a deal. This is gonna be a real player right here. Interesting. Look at him go. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, so we want to find some bots, and I think probably the best way to do that is to go to somewhere that has quite a few players. And I'm curious because bots are now in squads of 4. If it zaps that bot out of existence, will it force me to a real player, or will I be able to spectate in this mode? Now, the plan originally for hopping into quads was to spectate out the quads, or at least, you know, play a little bit and then spectate out the quads, but it seems like we're being left without an option here. If this doesn't work out, I'm not sure it would be worth it to fully spectate a match. I am just looking around for a bot. I'm looking for somebody to be walking around like a goober, like a chicken with its head cut off. I'm gonna cut my mic on for the sake of it, so if I come up here, oh, we got TTV guys. That's crazy. My boy playing casual quads with a TTV name.
You said 9846.
That's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta get out of there. Oh my god. Oh my god, guys. We're trying to get the bots to come watch our streams now? Is that guy real? Hello? That's probably a real guy. A little unfortunate. Got a Ladra. I'm not necessarily trying to fight people. I'm just trying to find bots, which is seemingly more difficult than I had originally anticipated. I'm trying to think where a bot would be. Usually they're over here. Like this is the go-to area is somewhere this direction. But I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find a bot. I am in Battle Royale Casual, which is quads. You see in the top right that there's, you know, teams of players, and this is the only way that you can get teams of players in casual. So I'm looking around for something. Now the thing is, in casual quads, all the players that are not bots tend to stick together. So just thinking about how game modes like this work, what you can kind of think is like, okay, first, you know, if you're in solos, you have 28 players going to 28 different locations. But in quads, you have 7 teams. So they're more likely to be in similar locations. And interestingly enough, I can't even find bots. And the most likely reason for that is because the bots just respawn near real players. Now that looks like maybe a bot right here. Oh yeah, that's a bot. That's a bot right there. How interesting. Okay. And how good is this bot? Oh, we got a full squad of bot. Full squad of bots. Look at this. Look. Okay, here we go. Take me down. Sunflower wow. Just to double check. Look at how it has aimbot through the wall, by the way. Okay, I'm trying to report. There's no report button. See what happens. You can't spectate them anymore. They took out the ability to spectate bots. I was not expecting this. I wasn't. Yeah, this is a real team. Every player on the team is real. So Call of Duty is hiding this from us. They don't want us to know what's going on with the bots. How interesting. We've got one last saving grace, and I'm not sure if it's gonna work. Let's give it a shot. Now, of course, the mode that I am talking about that's going to be our saving grace is Resurgence. Now, we talked about this just a little bit, and as you can see, it's going to be a little bit different. We've got guys on the mics. These guys are running around like chickens with their head cut off. I don't know the exact ratio for Resurgence. Like, it's got to be like 4 teams. I don't know if that's true. I don't have any clue. But it seems like there's got to be just like 4 teams that are real. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody else knows the exact numbers, but I know we never got an exact number for this. I guess I could technically go and look and see the last players in the lobby and stuff like that and see where it ends. But at the end of the day, the goal is to drop in and die to a bot. So I have to die, and then I have to die quickly to a bot. So what I need to do is identify a bot before I hit the ground, because otherwise we'll be spectating real players. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive in, same as we did just a minute ago, and we're going to splat. So let's do it. We're diving in. We're going to see what we can do. Okay. Drop there. We're going to burn our self-revive. I actually don't even know how to identify a bot in this mode, to be honest. I don't play a lot of Resurgence, and maybe we have to do a Resurgence casuals video in and of itself. If this works, this could be pretty interesting. So I'm floating. We're trying to look for players that are just kind of like walking around, right? We want something that's very clearly a bot so that it'll possibly kill me. I'm guessing that's not bots, or at least one of them is not a bot, and they're fighting because that's where a key card usually is. This is pretty unfortunate. I have 15 seconds. I need to find a bot quick. We might have to do it again, but it's just hard to identify the bots. I mean, clearly I got a guy somewhere near me. Probably just jump off and die the second my Resurgence timer hits. Are you real? Okay, so definitely a bot. Look at the way that it turns. How interesting. How interesting is that, man? So I need to find a bot. See how that guy pulls his chute. I can't tell. It's much harder in this to tell. That's definitely a bot right there. This is a bot. This is a bot. This is a bot. This is a bot. Get me. Get me. Get me. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Get my ass. Come on. Okay, bot. Fam Bazil. He did not disappear. I can't report. There's no report button. What happens? He's knocked. It switches players. Oh my God. It always switches to real players now. Yeah, this is a real player. I just don't understand what Call of Duty's hiding in this case. Why would they choose to do that? We've made numerous videos in the past where we've been able to spectate these AI, but what is it now that they've changed that they don't want us to know? I don't know if we'll ever find out. That's kind of the sad of this, you know? The frustrating part is that we may never know what secrets they're holding back. I mean, this guy is just slamming all the bots, but I mean, this is what I was talking about. So obviously in the last game, and I'm going to end this in just a second, but obviously in the last game, we talked a little bit about how casuals is a really great place for you to work on, you know, kind of building up your aim. If you're trying to warm up a little bit, this is kind of the place you want to do it, because you can just hop in and just shoot stuff for most of the match. And sure, if you want to lock in at the end of the game and go for a win, you can, or you just die when you die. But it gives you an opportunity to kind of work on your aim a little bit, and I think that's a big part about casuals, that a lot of people should be playing more Resurgence casuals for that reason, because it'll just make you a better player whenever it comes to aim. But at the end of the day, like, this guy is seemingly a really good player. I mean, I don't have a guarantee on that, but it's kind of crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I want to know your thoughts in a comment down below. How do you feel about them hiding the spectator view now, because you can go back to my videos in the past. You can see me literally spectate bots, but now it's seemingly not possible. I wonder why. I wonder why. But either way, I hope you guys have an incredible remainder of your day. That's going to be it for the video. Maybe we have to come back to this. I want to hear your thoughts in a comment down below. And if you want me to try something in casuals, let me know. Either way, thank you guys so much. Make sure to go to expel.gg if you're interested in grabbing yourself a controller, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.